But when we talk about intelligent automation, or sometimes they call it hyper automation, or they might just call it business process automation, there are a lot of different terms used to describe the same thing, which is combining these different technologies to achieve the best results with automating your end-to-end business processes. So robotic process automation, that's the piece that really can automate the individual tasks. And the way that it does it is very unique and interesting. So when you think about a robot doing a task, in this case, we're not talking about a physical robot, it's a software-based robot, but the mechanism for the software-based robot to interact with your systems is very similar to what a physical robot would be, right? In the physical world, when a robot is doing an assembly task on a production line, they do that task in the same exact way that a human would do it, using usually the same equipment at the same point in the process. The only difference is that they do it much faster, and they do it without needing any breaks. And usually there's a lot less errors in doing it. So robotic process automation is taking that same kind of approach, but with things that are software based. So the kinds of tasks that you do on a computer, like having to copy and paste things out of one system into another system because they're not well integrated, or maybe you need a report that contains information from multiple different systems that you have to work on. And so you have to combine a bunch of data together in a single spreadsheet. And all of those manual tasks can be accomplished by robotic process automation. And it does it through the user interface itself, so that it's not necessary to do a bunch of coding. You don't need developers. Everything is really done through a visual design interface that's very easy for a tech-savvy business user to do. So that will help you to automate the individual tasks. But what happens when they're more complicated, right? Where there's more complex decisions that involve lots of other data points, that's where artificial intelligence comes in. And by bringing artificial intelligence into the mix, you're able to automate far more processes than you could without it, because it gives the bots more cognitive intelligence so that they can not just look at lots of different data sources, but they're able to make decisions based on large sets of data using things like a machine learning capability. So where they will look at, maybe there have been a million transactions that happened in the past, and they're able to, the machine learning model is able to draw conclusions from that and then apply that to do predictive analytics on what will happen on the next one. So those are the kinds of things that are possible with artificial intelligence. And then the last piece we have on there is business process management. And this is very important. And really, this is probably the biggest area where standalone RPA products struggle, is what happens when you have complete end-to-end business processes that have a lot of individual tasks that can be automated by RPA bots, but some of those processes are things that have to be done by humans. So you have these gaps then in the process where there's handoffs from bots to humans, and an RPA system loses track of that. And so that's where business process management comes into play, because it's able to track both those automated tasks that are being done by the bots, as well as those human performed tasks. And it's able to create data around all of them so that you know where the process is, whether it's in an automated step being done by a bot, or whether it's in a manual step being done by a human. And you also know the relative performance times, as well as performance of the overall business process. So it gives you a lot of great data for being able to manage your processes and thereby your entire business when you have this in place.